Well, that's not exactly how you drew up coming back after a very successful road trip. The Astros got swept by a very stalling and unproductive Guardians team that stymied the Houston Astros. There's still hope. Let's talk about that on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at EricDocStros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok, at Stros411 on X and on Facebook and Instagram, and at Wheelhouse Media Company on YouTube. Also, you can find me on iHeartRadio. Look, just look for H-Town Wheelhouse. You know where to find me. No matter what happens, I'm always positive, always Stros.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go ahead and check us out and go and make us your first listen. Help us get to 15,000 subscribers. We're gaining some ground. We're getting closer and closer, but we just need you to hit that little red button down there that says subscribe. So go ahead and make us your first listen. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. And today's episode is also brought to you by the Astros training staff for all the injuries that continue to come up throughout, even when somebody comes back to the lineup and can't even make it to the game time. So we'll talk about that later. But the Astros get swept, and I guess the episode could also be sponsored by Max Muncy. He had some great words to assist the Astros, but the Astros get swept. We'll talk about what happened in this game: the good, the bad, the ugly. The law averages kind of catch up to the Astros. Jake Meyers does get hurt. All-star Paredes. We'll talk about what that means. And Hunter Brown is not going to pitch an all-star game. What does that mean? And also bring on the Rangers, because the Astros need to gain some ground that they lost. But the good news is the Mariners did lose again. So Brett, swept by the Guardians. I know you kind of briefly mentioned in the intro, but what does this mean? Is this the law of averages just kind of balancing out, or what's going on here?
Yes and no. I mean, obviously, you're not going to win every game. You're not going to win every series. You're not going to be successful every time you get to the mound. Hunter Brown isn't even going to pitch like a Cy Young pitcher every single game. I mean, he had the dreaded 6 runs, 6 innings pitched, giving up 6 hits. I mean, that's crazy, right? But this guy that the Guardians put on the mound, Slade Cecconi, he just had his way with the Astros, and sometimes pitchers have your number. We allude back to the Dodgers series where, Oral Hershiser made the offhand comment. It seems like the Astros know what pitch is coming, and Max Muncy on a podcast, he's injured. He said, he goes, the Astros knew what was coming, but they didn't cheat. We were tipping pitches and we fixed it. And our pitcher was, he's a rookie. He was giving out. Basically, they knew a pitch was coming because of the way he was throwing. He goes, we were basically stealing signs, but that's not against the game. That's a part of the game. It's a strategy. So
every team does it, is what he said. So every team does it. We do it. Right. Every team doesn't. So the Astros were not cheating. They're just doing what a good team does. If they see a pitcher tipping, like I know Hunter Brown over the weekend or over the past couple of days, he said he felt like he was tipping as well. But Brian Bozakiewicz said that he doesn't think he was tipping. He just didn't have his great command.
Well, and you're going to have that, and this is a series you absolutely want to have back. Now, the reason why this doesn't worry me to just, oh my gosh, let's just throw the baby out with the bathwater. The sky is falling. Like there's a lot of fans out there overreacting. Is you've played well at home all season long. You've got one of the best home records all season long. So getting swept by a team that was extremely cold is an anomaly. It's going to happen. All the while the Mariners are losing, the Rangers are losing, other AL West teams are losing. I mean, we're 9.5 up on the Rangers, 6.5 up on the Mariners. I'm not worried about losing this lead, right? I think, though, this team looked gassed. They looked tired. Those had to be some emotional games. When you put 18 on the scoreboard, a lot of people don't think about how much energy you burn, especially if you're hitting and running and all that stuff. That takes energy. And, you've had Josh Hader at this peak performance level, just doing great, gives up the grand slam, but doesn't lose his consecutive save streak because he wasn't ever out there to get the save. He would have gotten the win. He got a hold, would have gotten the win, but he got the loss. So that streak is still intact. That's how baseball works. When Jake Meyers went down at the beginning of the game, that's something we'll talk about later. You're like, oh, there's another guy that's not in the lineup. So you're piecemealing a lot of guys in there that you weren't going to count on at the beginning of the season, Eric. And things like this are going to happen. But you know who else got swept? The Dodgers got swept by the Brewers. So it's not like we're the only team that's been swept after a successful road trip. So it's going to happen. The law of averages, I think they're gassed. It is what it is. I mean, honestly, going into today's game, I didn't have really any expectations. I thought towards the end today they might come back, but I was like, all right, let's just move on to Texas.
Yeah, Brandon Walton went out there and he gave up the 2 early home runs, and one of them was to Jose Ramirez. I think he needs to start getting the Albert Pujols treatment when he faces the Astros, because this is 4 home runs against the Astros this year. Granted, they don't play a lot, but still, he crushes the Astros. He also had a stolen base in this game. He has 25 on the season, but he has 17 home runs. But Brandon Walton went out there after giving up the 2 home runs. He only allowed those 2 hits. He didn't allow any walks, so he limited the damage. 6 innings, 7 strikeouts, and I love granted, I don't want to say too many good things about what the Guardians did, but what the Guardians did before the game was they put the pitching machine kind of in a right where Walter pitches to kind of see the different arm angle, and that way they can kind of see what would happen. But it didn't help. Yes, you had the 2 early home runs, but then Walter made the adjustment, and that's what you're seeing with a journeyman, somebody that the Astros weren't supposed to be counting on, but he made the adjustment. Okay, I don't want to keep on giving up home runs, so what can I do? And so unlike what Sosa dealt with, where he gave up 3 hits and the 2 runs, Sosa doesn't have that changeup that Walter does, that he throws a little bit harder than Walter, but Walter can kind of offset it with the changeup, where it looks like that's what made Roy Oswalt so successful. He threw that huge fastball, and then he also threw the curveball and the changeup and everything that kind of slowed them down. And so I think that's what Brandon Walton can bring to the table, and I think that he's going to stick around in the rotation at least for a little bit until some of the other guys come back.
Yeah, and this is just one of those things. You just got to watch it, put it behind you, be thankful for the day off. That's what players are going to do. Players are going to take their time. I think there's definitely much to be said about allowing certain players in the game today, and we'll talk about that in our next segment. But, you got the Rangers coming to town. I believe DeGrom is going to be on the mound in game 2, possibly versus Fromber. I will confirm the rotation this upcoming weekend. When we get later on, we'll talk about that in the third segment.
All right, guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day with us on YouTube. Go and subscribe to us. Go and make us first listen Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and check us out.
That's right, everybody. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is the app that you want to go. Why? Because you need tickets. What do you need tickets to? I'm glad you asked. You need tickets to all the things that summer allows. Concerts. You can go to baseball games. You can go to football games coming up. And I know it's a summer, but you can start planning because those are already out there. So bring the family, bring your friends. You can splurge on food, drinks, merch, and even invite a big group to come with you. And Game Time makes that possible. Buying tickets fast and easy. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. So get everybody together. Let's go to Dyken Park. Let's stand right across the street about an hour before first pitch, unless there's cool giveaways, and let's all go get our tickets. Right there, you get exclusive deals. You get all kinds of stuff you can see there, and zone deals give you up to 10% off when you get closer to that time. And 2026 is around the corner, but wait for a little bit for the World Cup matchups. Those will be available. Download the Game Time app, create the account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Game Time tickets. They are last-minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen. Please subscribe to us. We're trying to get to 15,000 subscribers. We're going to be here for you, win or loss. Brett or I will be here. We'll go ahead and talk you through it. I know the Astros have been doing a lot more winning recently, but they're going to lose some games. And Michael Connor, go and check him out with the Locked On Astros podcast as well. But we'll be here all season. No matter what happens, we'll be here to kind of talk you through it. And this will be actually my last show from this location. I'm moving to a house starting tomorrow. So hopefully the Wi-Fi will be better. The apartment Wi-Fi is kind of sketch at times, but I'm glad that this transition, this stage of my life is over, and I'm actually getting back into a house. And so I thank you to everybody that's reached out to me about this. But after I'm done with this show, I'm gonna pack up the computer, pack up everything here, and just start getting ready to break this all down behind me, what's left. But the Astros have to kind of do that. They have to move on from this series. And I know I like the way you said it. It's a wash. Just let it go. The whole what I put on the thumbnail is just scrub the series. And it was a picture of Walter pitching, and it was kind of one of those blurry ones where you can't really see him. And I really like the idea of just let's scrub it. This series didn't happen, and just move on.
Yeah. Eric, you're right. You have to do that. I remember a couple years ago when I covered the College Classic there at when it was called Minute Maid Park, and I was talking to one of the coaches from Texas State, and they were just like, you have to, like, they had gotten a big win, but he was like, at midnight we forget about it. Like, we go to the next day, and it doesn't matter what we did the day before. What matters is today. What matters is what we're doing now. And if Division I baseball teams are doing that, you have to be able to do that. And that's, again, we've been talking about this. How are the Astros inevitable? How are they still doing what they're doing? It's because there's a clubhouse culture in this city that is second to none. It is hard to replicate. It is unique. It is one of a kind. And if they continue this going down the road, I think I used the number 12. The Braves got to 14 straight postseasons. I mean, the Astros are at number 8. Are they going to go for 9? Or are they going to get to 10? Will they get to 11? As long as they keep the clubhouse culture going, they will do that. But yeah, I just confirmed Chandler Rome said for the Rangers series. Oh, you know what? We'll talk about that third segment. What did you think about Jake Meyers being put in today? Of course, I guess if he would have gone in and not felt any pain or not left, no one would be critical of him playing. But when it was in warmups, you're wondering, was he sore going into warmups and just didn't say anything because he wanted to be out there? Maybe he feels the extra need to be there in the lineup because Christian Walker's still on paternity leave. What were your thoughts when you saw him being not carted, but he could hardly walk leaving the field?
Yeah, that's not a good sign. I know that after the game, I think it was designated a calf strain.
Right.
So it's basically something that he was already dealing with. So it's not a new injury, but I think that in his mind, he's like, I'm feeling better. Let me go ahead and go back into the lineup. And this is a good hitter. I mean, we're talking about somebody that's batting 308 with a 774 OPS. So, of course, you want this guy back in the lineup, especially after you lost 2 games to the Guardians. And so maybe both sides wanted him back in the lineup, and everything was going good. I'm sure he did some running drills or something, but I'm sure before the game when he was warming up, there was a cramp. Something happened where we've all had those cramps where you just you can barely walk, you can barely move, and I'm sure that's what happened. Hopefully it was just something like that. Maybe he didn't drink enough water, maybe he was dehydrated, something like that. No, I'm being serious. I'm trying to look at the positive side because the Astros need Jake Meyers. As crazy as that sounds from what we've been saying for the past 2 years, but Jake Meyers has become unreplaceable on this team, and he's become a big part of the reason why the Astros have been winning. Yes, they won Sunday's game without Jake Meyers, but still, you've got to have this guy in the lineup, and maybe he came back too soon, but unfortunately, because he was listed in the game in the lineup today, that counts as him being in the game, I believe. So if you're going to have to put him on IL, you can't retroactive it.
Did you hear about the Yankees designating DJ LeMahieu for assignment today?
Yeah.
I was like, what? Look, man. And the reason why I mentioned that is, you got guys like DJ LeMahieu that are being, basically sent away. He's owed like $22 million. You have a guy like Jake Meyers, who's a budget guy who's playing like a star. And so you're right. They absolutely need him. I think after the All-Star break, you're gonna get a good reset. You're gonna get a lot of guys rested. I see this ball club really turning the corner. I do hope that they compete though against the Rangers, because I can't stand going an entire week during All-Star break hearing Rangers fans poke their chest out and go, "We got within 6" or whatever, So we definitely don't want that to happen. But Jake Meyers getting hurt, like you said, good thing it was a cramp, because someone's like, man, the way he went down, maybe it was an Achilles. And I'm like, okay, can we quit with the Reddit rumors, right? But hey, Jake Meyers goes down, but there was some good news before the game, Eric.
It was right calf tightness. I don't know if it was a cramp. I'm just saying.
Tightness, cramp, tomato. Look, it basically, he couldn't hardly walk on it. But how about this? Issac Paredes getting the respect and going to his second straight All-Star game. I thought that was really cool news.
Yeah, and the way they did it, they kind of did the same way they did Cam Smith coming up to the big leagues. They went ahead and Joe Spada did it in front of the locker room and said, this player has become a big part of the Astros organization, and just kind of this whole speech, and somebody recorded it, and of course it got on internet. But it's actually awesome, the fact that last year he was traded to the Cubs, and then when he was with the Cubs, he wasn't the exact same player that the Cubs thought they were getting. And if he was that good player with the Cubs, I don't think the Astros would have got him as part of this deal. But because he struggled last year with the Cubs after being so good with the Rays, I think that helped the Astros. Well, we want to kind of get rid of this contract of Paredes. Will you go ahead and take him? And so the Astros are like, sure, we've been trying to get him for 2 or 3 years. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take him. So I think that this was a good move for the Astros. And while we're talking about the All-Star game, Jeremy Pena will be attending the All-Star game, but of course, he will not be participating in All-Star game. I think we all knew that what was going to happen, but Joe Espada did confirm that today. And also Hunter Brown, I believe, unless they did confirm that. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
But Hunter Brown will be starting on Sunday, which means he will not be pitching an all-star game. I know I did talk about this yesterday, but Brett, I want to hear your thoughts in a second about all this all-star talk and what you think about Paredes, and especially with him leading off, what does he mean for the team? But guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day.
That's right. This episode is brought to you by wonderful sponsors like Open Phone. Go to openphone.com/lockedonMLB and get 20% off your first 6 months when you go there. If you're running a business, you know that every missed call means money left on the table. Think about the last time you had a service emergency, like a burst pipe and the first plumber didn't answer. Did you wait? No, you called the next guy. And that's why having a reliable business line is so important. And that's why you need Open Phone. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system that helps you streamline and scale customer communication, all from an app on your phone or computer. Have you juggled 2 phone calls just to keep business and personal calls separate? Well, Open Phone has solved that instantly. Your whole team can share one number and respond to customers like a shared inbox. No more who's getting this call. And the AI agent handles after-hours calls, answers common questions, and captures leads so you never have to miss a customer. Open Phone is offering the Locked On Astros listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/lockedonMLB. That's openphone.com/lockedonMLB. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over at no extra charge. Open Phone, no missed calls, no missed customers.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Go and make us first listen Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out. I know we've been talking All-Star, and I know a lot of people think it's an exhibition game. It doesn't really matter. Hunter Brown, this is his first time going to All-Star game. He's not going to play. Jeremy Pena is hurt, so he's not going to play, definitely on the IL. But Issac Paredes, this is his second straight year making All-Star game. So what was your initial thoughts that he's going to be All-Star and Framber Valdez to this point is not?
Well, I think Issac Paredes deserved it. I don't think he should have waited until the reserves. I think that if you want to talk about replacing a guy who has been a staple for this team since he came up his rookie year in Alex Bregman, we know the defensive prowess that he had. We know the clutch home runs that he hit. We know the playoff pedigree that he has. And to replace that is a huge deal, even for another veteran. So Issac Paredes comes in, and not only can he crush the ball and leading the club in home runs, but he's got an amazing glove. The dude's got an arm. He's got an eye not only for the strike zone at the plate, but he also has an eye for any ball that comes towards him like a Hoover, just taking every ball, throwing it to first, getting those out. So Issac Paredes definitely deserved this All-Star nod. Super happy for him. Hunter Brown not pitching in the All-Star game, I think Hunter Brown cares more about the team than he does his personal accolades. Just like when I congratulated him on going to the Futures game when, before he had gotten called up in 22. He didn't really care about that. He wanted to help the Astros win a World Series, and he did that in 2022. So you have a team full of guys that deserve all-star bids like Framber Valdez, like Brian Abreu. But unfortunately, everybody can't make it. Unfortunately, you have this cockamamie rule that every team has to be represented, like Julio Rodriguez making the all-star team. Why? He's terrible this year. He's not even an average center fielder. He's just his name. So why are we putting guys like that in the all-star game? I would say the same thing if they took a Houston Astros who's having a below-average year and they just threw him in there. It makes no sense, right? Like, if you don't have any position players, sorry, get another pitcher. I can name 3 pitchers on Seattle's team before you even get to Julio Rodriguez, right? So it's a flawed system. It's a popularity contest. And I know Astros fans want to see your guy representing your city on the mound. But what's most important, and let's focus here, is getting to October and getting there healthy. So having a week off resting, but allowing Jeremy Pena to go and be a part of the all-star atmosphere, that's got to be a great feeling. Because one of these days, a lot of those guys on that field are probably going to be giving speeches at the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown.
But Brett, I think the Guardians would love to see Jose Ramirez playing third base, but apparently Jose Ramirez has pulled himself out of the All-Star game. That's
Yeah.
why Issac Paredes is
No,
going. So
right.
it's not just Astros that pulled themselves out of the All-Star game. It's
Oh,
other
no.
players as well.
Right.
I just want to clarify that. It's not just Jose Altuve that doesn't play in All-Star games, but we just have some breaking news about Jake Meyers. He said that he was absolutely on board with trying to play today. He said he did a bunch of sprinting and some cuts in and out during a 25-minute pregame workout. I felt good. I felt prepared to get into the game. It just tightened up running out to my position. So after doing all that, running out to position, it just happened like that. So it's just crazy how you could do everything you're supposed to do as an athlete. You're told, well, just go ahead and stretch, just go ahead and warm up, just do everything you're supposed to do. And then like that. But when, let's see, he asked if it feels worse than it did before. I'm trying to find this tweet, but basically he was asked if it feels worse than it did before. Something else popped up.
I have it right here. Myers said yeah. So he said, I felt good. I prepared for the game like every other day. Jake Meyers was walking gingerly in the clubhouse after the game and gave a brief interview. And so they'll give more information tomorrow. When asked if the calf injury feels worse than the one he felt Sunday, Myers said he preferred not to answer.
He pleaded a fifth. What does that mean if he pleads the fifth on this?
It means that he went out. HIPAA violation. It's a HIPAA violation. So it says, Eric, Brett, I am about to ask y'all to pinch it. No, you don't want to ask us to pinch it. No, I mean,
I can bunt maybe. Yeah.
No,
so
Eric, remember when you try to sprint, you pull stuff. Remember?
Oh yeah, trust me. I'm the Mike Trout of podcasting. I'm gonna
the Mike Trout of podcast. No, you're the Anthony.
No, not meaning I'm good at that. I'm just if I do anything, I'm gonna either pull my.
No, you're the Anthony Rendon. No, you're the Anthony Rendon of podcasting.
Okay, there you go. But Joe Ryan is actually replacing Hunter Brown in the All-Star game. Zach McKinstry is replacing Jeremy Pena. So Jordan Weems, the Astros liked him so much that they're re-signing him back to a minor league deal. So he's back with the AAA Space Cowboys. So that's great that he's another option because the Astros can never have enough options there. But I do want to talk about the Rangers a little bit. You had the rotations.
Yeah, well, I have the Astros rotation here. So there you go. That's who the Astros have going. I believe DeGrom is going second game because he's supposed to be pitching versus Framber Valdez. Okay. But I don't know who they're. I can look real quick and see if we got
TBD on MLB. I don't know if another one.
Yahoo usually has it before MLB. Okay, I got a question for the people at MLB. Why are y'all always last? Why are y'all after a sports site on getting pictures up? Like it's so dumb. How are they
TBD for the Rangers for the entire series? Basically.
Oh, it is? Okay. Well, they're also playing the Angels tomorrow. So, hey, you know what? The Rangers are 45-47. Look, we just had a trap series. We woke up, whatever. I mean, if the Rangers win 2 out of 3 at this point, I just need this team to get the All-Star break.
And I know that. Yeah, I know that you're talking about the bragging thing about beating the Rangers going into All-Star break. I want to hear about fans. If fans pull their receipts, well, we beat the Astros in the last series before an All-Star break. You could just say, well, we're still 9.5 games above you, or maybe it'll be 7.5 at that point. But the fact is, the Mariners continue to lose on days the Astros lose, so they still have a I think it's a 7-game lead over the Mariners. Maybe it's 6-game leads. I'm looking at the wrong site.
So we are actually 6.5 over the Mariners right now.
Yeah, 6.5. Yes,
and 9.5 over the Rangers, and the Blue Jays are in first place by 2.5 games over the Yankees.
Right.
Wow! And get this, Kansas City's catching up to Detroit. Not really. They're 13 games behind. My AL Central pick, my AL Central division winner, is 13 games. Are they going to do what the Astros did last year? I highly doubt it. Man, I was off on my predictions other than the AL West. Golly, that was bad. But I'm still counting on the Yankees not making the playoffs this year.
Yeah,
I really am.
Hopefully that happens. But the AL Central, they got off to this hot start, but I didn't see any of these teams being that good where they're going to maintain that. Maybe the Guardians, I thought they would be good, but they've fallen well, I can't really talk bad about the Guardians after they swept us, but the Royals, they're the second best team with the Twins right now. But I think a lot of the power is in the East right now, and definitely with the way the Blue Jays, I know they lost today, but they were on a 10-game winning streak or 11-game winning streak before that, and they've been on fire, and it seems like as hot as the Rays were, they've kind of cooled off a little bit. So it's a lot of up and down in the American League this year.
Guess who the Royals signed to a minor league contract?
John Singleton?
No. Dallas Keuchel.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I forgot about that.
I thought I'm like, Dallas, come on. It's time to hang it up, buddy. I mean,
he wants to get a new pool.
Apparently, or a new car.
Yeah, so if he wants to continue pitching, I think that's more power to him. If he wants to just continue doing what he loves to do, that's fine. So as long as he can get out there. Now, if he's going to get to the big league, that's a different story. But Brett, thank you once again for covering for me tomorrow. I'm not going to have any internet yet until Friday. So I appreciate everybody that makes us your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go and subscribe to us. Go and make us first listen to Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go ahead and check us out. Let's just scrub this series. It didn't happen. Let's just get that little. I do have a pin here. Let's go like Men in Black and pretend that it didn't happen and just move on, roll with the punches, and we will see you later.
So when's the housewarming party?
I'll let you know once we get everything settled.
Wow, that didn't. It sounds like you don't want me over.
No, it's like we got a lot of stuff to organize. That's what.